Wow, I can't remember the last time we had weather like this.
Pardon me, but could either of you tell me why I'm wearing these lights on my fingers?
If I'm not mistaken, those lights are for night blogging.
What's that?
Night blogging is when you blog at night.
Isn't blogging seals illegal?
You must be thinking of something else. Blogging involves posting commentary and descriptions of events or ideas along with quotations from your daughter on a website that you maintain.
I'm not 100% sure that I've ever engaged in any of those activities.
You do it all the time! I've read your blog on several occasions.
Are you certain that it was me?
Maybe you have me confused with someone else. There's a Mark Maynard who lives in South Lyon. Or perhaps you're thinking of the Mark Maynard from Olmsted, Michigan.
I'm relatively certain that it's you I'm referring to.
Well, isn't that the darndest thing? Blogging. It sounds like some kind of dessert.
Why is everyone acting so strange, Mr. Sniffy?
I think that wind blew away everyone's memories.
Well, that's a fine theory, but wait a minute. You're talking. Mr. Sniffy, what are we going to do? Our community will cease to function if the wind really did blow away everyone's memories. Nobody will remember how to do their jobs or where their place in the social hierarchy is. What if the people who were cellular engineers yesterday start animating inanimate objects in a performative context today? Start trying to grow living cells in an artificial environment. What if the bones forget to beg for change and decide to enact social policies instead?
Maybe we should try to sell people on the idea that the city consisted solely of unattended fish markets before they lost their memories.
Oh, Mr. Sniffy, we need to help everyone regain their memories. Without them, the history of Ypsilanti will be gone forever.
I suppose you're right. As the famous philosopher George Santayana said, quote, "Those who cannot remember the past are doomed to repeat it," end quote. Depending on the quality of life in the past, that could be a good or bad thing.
We need to figure out a way to teach everyone about their local history, and quick. But first, I need to learn about the history of Ypsilanti so I can teach it to other people.
What do you need to know? I know pretty much everything there is to know about the history of Ypsilanti. Have you ever heard the expression, the real McCoy?
I think so.
Well, some people believe that that expression refers to Elijah McCoy, the famous inventor and engineer. He operated a machine shop here in Ypsilanti, where he developed his first patent, an automatic lubricator for use in steam engines. Elijah's father, George McCoy, was an escaped slave from Kentucky who farmed tobacco and sold cigars for a living in Ypsilanti. At that time, Ypsilanti was a stop on the Underground Railroad. Escaped slaves from Missouri, Arkansas, and Texas would stop at Ypsilanti as they passed through Battle Creek and Jackson to Detroit, and eventually Canada. George McCoy drove a covered wagon, which contained a false floor used to shelter fugitive slaves. He would often travel to Detroit and Wyandotte, where he would sell his cigars. Upon arrival at Wyandotte, the slaves were moved with the help of another man to a ship called the Pearl, which traveled to Canada.
Hey there, George. Where are you headed?
Oh, I'm just headed to Wyandotte with this wagon full of cigars. These ones are the real enchiladas, if you know what I mean.
Oh, I'm sorry, I don't. You see, I don't speak Spanish.
You know, I don't either. I don't know where that phrase comes from. Anyway.
Hey, did you hear something?
Oh, well, see here. These are talking cigars.
Talking cigars?
Yeah, they're going to be a big hit in Canada. Anyway, I gotta go.
I'll see you later, George. Good luck selling your cigars in Wyandotte.
At a young age, Elijah was fascinated with figuring out how things worked, and he frequently came up with imaginative ideas based on his observations.
What are you working on now, Elijah?
Well, Dad, I was actually working on a blueprint for a mechanical device that uses gears and pulleys to make calculations.
A machine that can make calculations? What in the heck would someone do with one of those?
Well, you know how you calculate all of your cigar business profits and losses in that ledger? All those calculations could be done mechanically.
Oh, Elijah, what will you think of next? You read too much of that newfangled science fiction. You should apply your mind to something practical, like developing a mechanical lubricating system for steam engines.
I'll get right on it.
I'm going to teach everyone about their history before they start repeating
I
it.
know. We could make a puppet show.
A puppet show? Why would we want to do that?
If we're careful and we make the show entertaining enough, the audience won't even notice that they're accidentally learning something. We can make a puppet show about the history of Ypsilanti and present it to everyone in the city. If we start now, we could be finished by tomorrow. I'll start working on a promotional flyer. You write the script and make all the puppets.